So you ordered a banana nut cream pie, but you got an Oreo cream pie instead. Listen, it happens. Pie's pie. All goes down the same way. Hey guys, welcome back to TutsByKai. I'm Kai, and today we're back once again taking a look at how to do some animation basics, which is very, very cool. I want to start off by saying, if you guys can hear my fan, which I can almost guarantee that you can, there's a little bit of a heat wave going on right now, so let's just pretend you don't hear that little in the background. All right, listen, I love you guys, and I want to make some quality content, and that fan might be disturbing, but listen, I sweat every single time it goes off for 5 seconds, so I'm not trying to be wet right now. Guys, let's go ahead and get started. I want to go ahead and talk about the basics. So the first thing we need to do is when you open up the program, you can see obviously we have something like this. I'm in a 1920 by 1080 canvas. Let's go ahead and go up to the top right, hit this little button. And you can see we can scroll to different types of workspaces over here, which is really, really, really cool. So something you're gonna want to click on is animation. So obviously go up to the first one, hit animation, and it'll change the entire way the program looks to something that looks a little bit more like this. I'm clicking my middle mouse button, so click the scroll wheel in, and then you can pan around like this around the scene. You can see we have some colors up here, we have some layers, we have the timeline, we have the onion skins, and the tools up at the top here. So this looks a little different than it used to look back in the day, but as you can see, we have a pretty basic start of the animation timeline. So let's go ahead. We can right click on this first paint layer. We have two layers here. We have background and we have paint layer 1. The background is obviously the background, the white background, and then the paint layer 1 is obviously the layer on top of that, which is invisible right now because there's nothing on it, because we haven't drawn anything yet. So let's go ahead and change my brush size to maybe 10. And then we'll go ahead and just grab a black color just for now, just a simple animation. I'm gonna draw a little circle here, like this. There you go, beautiful circle, perfect circle, amazing circle. And what we're gonna do is actually, wait, I'm gonna use the circle tool instead. So hold down Shift to make a perfect circle like that, and you can see that this circle is on the first paint layer. Let's go ahead and right click this and hit create duplicate frame. So what we've just done is we've just created a frame of this circle on paint layer 1, which is exactly what we need to start being able to animate this sphere. Now if we didn't create a duplicate frame on this, it wouldn't animate this. It wouldn't know that this circle was here. It wouldn't do anything with it when we move to another keyframe. So let's go ahead and skip one frame and then go to the second frame, the third frame rather. So go to this one, and we can right click, create blank frame. So essentially what this does is there's two options for every keyframe. You can see this create blank frame, right click this, by the way, right click, create blank frame, and create duplicate frame. So basically the difference between these two is blank frame means that it's going to delete anything that's on that frame. So you can see when I hit create blank frame here, it got rid of the circle that we had before. It got rid of the circle, and now you can see the little outline looks a little different. So like I said, basically all that does, it just gets rid of everything that's on that frame instead of like copying it over. And if I was to go ahead and undo this and then right click create duplicate frame, it will just add whatever we had on the last frame to this frame. So it'll just duplicate the entire thing and move it over. So that way we can add to the circle if we want to. You can see now we can just do something like that. But we're gonna go ahead and right click. We're gonna right click. There we go. Create blank frame, because I want to show you guys onion skinning. So down at the bottom right, you can see we have onion skinning, which is basically seeing the previous frame or the next frame like as an overlay, so you can tell where you need to draw the next frame to kind of like blend the frames together. So if you don't understand what I mean, you'll see here in a second. Now let's go ahead and turn onion skinning on by hitting this little button right here, this little light bulb button. You can see that it now creates a little red circle. The red means that this is a frame that's behind the frame that we're on. So it's one of the previous ones. And if we go to that frame, it'll turn black because that's actually the frame that we're on, the black frame. If we go forward, the frame in the back will be red, and if we have a frame ahead, so let's go ahead and right click on this empty space right here in between our blank frame and in between our actual frame, right click, duplicate frame, and then we'll just drag this to up ahead of the blank frame. So we have the blank frame, then we have a free frame, and then we have the new frame. Now let's go ahead and uncheck the previous frame, so you can see that when we go to this frame, The green is showing us frames that are coming up. So frames that are ahead of where we currently are. So it's showing us this frame right here on this frame. It's a little onion skin. Now the green and the red, it's just an onion skin. So if you don't know what that means, it's just showing us, like I said, where the next frame is. It's not drawing anything. This little green circle and the red circle will not be visible when you render the animation. It's just so we can see where the next frame and the previous frame was, so that we can get a feel for where we should put this frame, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and right click, remove keyframe, and then right click, duplicate, create blank frame. We'll remove this frame as well. Right click, remove frame, and then we don't have to worry about that. Now let's go ahead and grab this circle once again, turn on onion skinning for the previous 2 frames by clicking these 2 right here, these little buttons. So these buttons down here, the negative and the positives tell you how many frames you'll be able to see in advance in onion skin mode. So do you only want to see the frame right before it, or right after it, or do you want to see 2 before it, or 2 after it, or 3 or 4 or 5 before it, and 5 after it, and so on and so forth? And you can also drag these values up and down to get a to change the opacity of it, to see it darker or to see it lighter. So you can like have onion skinning like that, which looks much better in my opinion. So with that done, let's go ahead and create a new circle. Let's go ahead and just drag this over. So hold down shift, create a new circle. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller, maybe like that. And then we'll skip 1 frame, go to another frame, right click, create blank frame. And now we can see both of these frames. So now we can see where we want to put the next frame, which should probably be around this way, like that. Skip 1 frame, create blank frame. And then as you can see, we are just making our way downtown here, holding down shift, making the circle smaller and kind of making it go up at the same time. Something like this. Right click, blank frame, something like that. Right click, create blank frame. All right, and then probably 1 more like that. And then we'll skip 1 more frame, create this frame, create blank frame, and now you can see that it goes off of the canvas. So when we play this, you can see that it does like that. So it kind of just gets smaller and goes up. I'm gonna change our end frame so we don't have to keep looping this ourselves. Let's go to the we can leave it for now actually. Let's go ahead and you see this little number right here. This is the frame register. We don't have to really talk about this much, but this is obviously, you know, stop, play. This is skip 1 head, 1 forward, 1 frame forward, skip all the way forward, skip all the way back, you know, that kind of stuff. So these go to each individual frame that we have, and these go to each timeline, each frame in the entire timeline, even if there's not anything on it. And then this right here is obviously the speed of the animation. And then these right here are just easy ways to not have to right click. So you can create blank frame, create duplicate frame, and this is remove keyframes. So that's really easy and really simple to kind of remember. So this little drop down, you can see this is where the clip start and clip end is at. The frame rate is also here. So if you want to change the frame rate from 24 maybe to 12 or to 60 or to something, then this is where you do it. And then let's go ahead and change the clip in while we're here. Let's change it to maybe about 15, 16. Let's do 16. All right, there we go. So now when we play this, you can see that it will loop at 16 frames. And there's our little animation. Now that we're not done here yet, because we do have to worry about some other things. Maybe you want to add some color to this. Let's go ahead and talk about that for a second. Now let's right click this paint layer 1 object layer, sorry, hit new layer. And then move this layer down beneath this. You can do a couple of different things. So you can go ahead and grab this frame right here up at the top, and then just drag it beneath our other layer. So we can call this circle. There you go. And we can call this one color. Nice. So there we go. So now you can see the names match the names down here. We can turn off onion skinning for this layer right here because we don't need it anymore. Now for the color, this is the way that I do my color, and there's a lot of different ways to do everything, of course, in any program you're using, but this is a very simple way that I like to do it. Let's go ahead and grab the paint bucket tool right here. Let's say I want to make this circle blue. Why not? Cornflower blue. Perfect. Nice. What we need to do is we can go ahead and grab the paint bucket tool and then just click inside of this circle. Now you can see that when we zoom in here, it looks good, and that's because I have all my paint bucket tools set up. So really quickly, let's go through this and just explain to you why it looks so good. So make sure that when you use the paint bucket tool, when you open up the tool options dialog here, you can see that the threshold is on 8. The grow selection is very important, or else you'll get these weird lines. See if I can show you. Undo, there we go. These weird lines. See this little white line, the white edge around there? Yeah, you don't want that because it looks really, really weird. So the way to undo that is to make the grow selection by 2, so that when you do it, it'll grow the selection a little bit, so you don't have to worry about those weird white lines around the edges. Nice. With that done, we can also go ahead and make sure that all layers is on samples on all layers instead of current layer, because if you do current layer and you click in here and you click in here like that, it'll do the entire layer because it's only looking at the layer that we're on, which is color, and there's nothing on the color layer, so it's going to fill the whole thing. But if we do all layers, it'll be like, oh, there's a circle here, you probably want me to fill in the circle, so then it'll fill the circle in for you. So right click, create duplicate frame. Underneath each one of these circle keyframes of the line art, we need to go ahead and hit create blank frame, and then just fill the color back in. Just click. So go to the next frame, right click, create duplicate frame, click. Next thing, over and over again, you get the idea. Right click, blank frame, fill, right click, blank frame, fill, right click, blank frame, fill, and then for the last one, we just right click, blank frame. There we go. Nice. When we play this, you can see that now the color follows along with the ball, which is exactly what we needed, obviously, because that's, you know, we need the color to follow it, or else it's going to look weird like this, and like the line's going to be off and the color's going to be off and whatever else, what have you. So that is basically how you do that. Now, of course, any highlights, anything else you would do is the same exact process as this color. But yeah, that's basically it for animation basics. Literally the most basic of animations. We are going to be doing a lot more animation stuff here on the channel. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you guys are enjoying your week. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. I will see you in the next tutorial. Click the video on the screen if you want to see some more. Subscribe if you're not already. Join the TBK family. We got a lot more tutorials coming your way. I will see you in the next one. But until then, bye-bye.